You know, people always say they want to be loved. They crave it, beg for it, build their whole pathetic lives around it. Love me, they scream with their eyes. Tell me I matter. Oh, it's adorable. Sad, but adorable. Me? I learned early love is a game with loaded dice. Rigged, controlled, predictable. But hate? Oh, my darling, hate is pure. Hate is honest. And hate is powerful. You want to know what real strength looks like? It's standing in a room full of people praying for your downfall and smiling anyway. Because when they hate you, you're free. No more masks, no more pretending, no more fake laughs at fake jokes. You stop trying to belong and start becoming something far more dangerous, unstoppable. Yeah. I remember the first time they really hated me. Not just eye rolls or whispers, no. No. I'm talking venom, rage, disgust. The kind of hate that tastes like iron in the mouth. And oh, how they tried to break me, called me names, laughed behind my back, whispered in dark little corners, thinking I couldn't hear. But I heard every word. I didn't cry. I changed. I sharpened every insult into a dagger. Every rumor, a rope. Every betrayal, oh, a beautiful little spark. And from all that darkness, I lit a fire. You see, hate doesn't kill you. It builds you, if you know how to use it. But most people, they crumble under it. Oh no, they don't like me. Boo-hoo. They fold, they shrink, they apologize for daring to exist. Pathetic. You want to rise? You want to be remembered? You want the world to choke on your name? Then let them hate. Let them scream. Let them burn your name into their chests like a curse. Because when people hate you, they pay attention. And when people pay attention, you have power. They hate what they can't control. They hate what reminds them of everything they'll never be. They hate the truth. And I am the truth in a clown suit. You know what the real joke is? They call me crazy, unstable, a menace. But I'm the only one actually telling the truth. They all wear masks, smiling, nodding, agreeing, even when they want to scream, even when they want to run. I just tore my mask off and laughed in their faces. And that's why they hate me. Hate is fear, dressed up in a louder costume. When someone hates you, they're telling you, I see your power, and it scares the hell out of me. So don't run from it. Harness it, bend it, make their hate work for you. Every nasty word they say, write it down, read it aloud, memorize it. Then go build your empire on top of it. People want to be loved so badly, they forget how dangerous they could be. Not me. Love never built an empire. Love never made a man unforgettable. Hate did. They hated Caesar. They hated Napoleon. They hated every king, every rebel, every genius the world couldn't tame. So if they hate you, congratulations. You're not one of them. You're not average. You're not forgettable. You're becoming. You're stepping into the skin of something real. You know what happens when they can't ignore you anymore? They try to erase you. They rewrite the story. They cast you as the villain because they can't handle the truth of what you've become. But that's the sweet part, my friend. When they cast you as the villain, you get to write the ending. And villains? We never play by their rules. I don't need your sympathy. I don't want your validation. I don't care if you like me, because I've been hated by better people than you. The best part? The more they hate me, the louder they make me. Every insult is a microphone. Every threat is applause. So go ahead, boo me, scream, curse my name in the streets. Because in the end, they always remember the ones they hate. Not the ones who followed the rules. Not the ones who smiled politely and waited their turn. They remember the chaos. They remember the madness. They remember me, and they'll remember you too. If you stop trying to be liked and start being true, true to your fire, true to your pain, true to the monster they tried to bury. You know what's funny? They tried to bury me too, but I didn't die. I transformed. You know what most people don't understand? Hate isn't a curse. It's a currency. Oh yes. It spends well better than love, better than praise. Why? Because hate demands your presence. It forces your name into rooms you've never stepped foot in. It keeps you alive in the mouths of strangers. They talk about you without knowing you, judge you without standing in your shadow. But even in their ignorance, you own space in their minds. That's power. Real power isn't in the hands of the beloved. It's in the grip of the feared, the misunderstood, the ones no one dares to look in the eyes for too long. And here's the real kicker. Once you understand that, you stop needing approval. You stop asking for permission. You start moving differently. You walk into rooms without softening your edges. You speak truths that make people squirm. You stare so deep into their insecurities they flinch without a word. You become a mirror, and most people can't handle what they see when they look in. See, everyone wants to be admired. I wanted that too once. Before I learned admiration is a leash. They love you only when you behave, when you're useful, when you're quiet, when you're small enough to fit in their little boxes. But step outside that line, say something too raw, too real, suddenly you're dangerous. Good. Let them be uncomfortable. Let them whisper that you're too much, too loud, too intense. Because too much, by their standards, usually means you've started taking up space they wanted to reserve for themselves. They fear people who don't need the group. They hate those who build without applause. And they despise those who thrive in isolation. Because deep down, they know they couldn't survive 5 minutes alone with their own thoughts. But you sit in the dark and sharpen your mind like a blade. You let the silence mold you into something sharp and unrelenting. You hear every insult, every laugh, every rejection, and you say, "Thank you." Why? Because they gave you something they didn't mean to. Direction. You take every scar and turn it into a weapon. You carve your ambition from their criticism. And one day, one beautiful day, you'll walk past the very people who mocked you and hear the tremble in their voices when they say your name. But you won't flinch. You won't gloat. Because the truth is, you never needed their acceptance. You needed their resistance. Pressure makes diamonds. Yes, but it also reveals weakness. And oh, how quickly they fall apart under their own hate. They post, they gossip, they hiss like snakes in circles. But when you show up, silent and unbothered, they scatter. Because deep down they know you've survived what would have broken them. You became something they're terrified of becoming. Free. You're not tied to their system anymore. Not their opinions. Not their rules. Not their weak, trembling code of conduct that changes with every trending hashtag. You walk a different road now. And the best part? They can't follow you. Because this path, it requires something they don't have. Discipline in darkness. The kind of grit that grows when nobody's watching. The obsession that doesn't need applause to keep going. The madness that turns pain into poetry and isolation into clarity. You've got that now, don't you? You're not who you were before the hate. That version of you? Dead. Gone. Buried under the rubble of their opinions and your own fear. What rose in its place is something untamed. Something they whisper about but can't touch. Something that doesn't bend or ask or wait. You know how rare that is? To no longer be addicted to being liked? That's liberation most people never taste. They live and die for acceptance, wasting every ounce of potential just to be part of a pack of sheep, marching toward mediocrity. Not you. You took the path of the other. You became the villain in their story, so you could become the hero in your own. That's the paradox, isn't it? They'll call you ruthless, but you're focused. They'll call you evil, but you're honest. They'll call you arrogant, but you're just done shrinking for their comfort. You stopped asking, "Is this okay? Do you approve?" You started declaring, "This is me, unfiltered, unapologetic, unkillable." So what now? Now you build, in silence, with no applause, with no audience but the voice inside you whispering, "Keep going." Because that voice, it doesn't lie to you, it doesn't flatter, it doesn't beg. It knows what you've been through, and it knows what you're about to become. Something unforgettable. Have you noticed how quiet the room gets when the hated one starts winning? Oh, at first, they mock you. Then they doubt you. Then, silence. Because when the hate doesn't work, when the ridicule fails to break you, they run out of moves. And that's when they start watching. Not cheering, not clapping, just watching. Eyes wide, lips sealed, terrified of what you've become. You see, when you're hated, they feel safe. They convince themselves you're below them, broken, defeated. But when you thrive in spite of that hate, when you build empires out of the ashes they left you in, they panic because they realize you never needed them. That's the part they never recover from. You didn't beg for their help. You didn't change to please them. You didn't fold like they expected. You got smarter, colder, sharper. And now you walk into rooms with that look in your eyes. The look that says, "I don't need to be liked, I came to take." It terrifies them, because deep down, they know they've never had that kind of freedom. They're still imprisoned by opinions. But you turned rejection into a weapon. You turned isolation into armor. You turned their mockery into momentum. That's how monsters are made, isn't it? Not born, forged. Every jab, every insult, every door slammed in your face. Those were the hammers, the chisels, the fire. And you didn't scream. You didn't beg. You endured. That's the difference between them and you. They hate discomfort. You thrive in it. They fear being alone. You train in silence. They cling to the herd. You walk solo, dragging your shadow like a blade. And now they don't know what to do with you. You've become unreachable. They can't guilt you. They can't shame you. They can't control you. Because you stopped playing their game. You stopped answering every attack with explanation. You stopped wasting energy proving yourself to people who never wanted to understand you anyway. You stopped fighting for a seat at their table and built your own. Now look at them. desperate to be included in what you've created. And here's the delicious irony. The more they hated you, the more attention they gave you. The more attention they gave you, the stronger you became. Because every word they spat behind your back, every lie, every twisted version of your story they passed around like candy, you let it all stack up, like bricks, like bullets, and you built a throne with it. That's the power of being hated. It makes you pay attention. It keeps you awake. It forces you to confront your limits and burn them to the ground. Love makes you comfortable. But hate keeps you sharp. You train harder. You plan deeper. You cut cleaner. Because when you know they want you to fail, every success becomes a middle finger to the universe. And that makes you dangerous. Not because you're violent, not because you're cruel, but because you stopped needing permission to be powerful. You're not hiding anymore. You're not diluting yourself to fit in rooms that were never built to hold you. You walk in full now, with the scars, the rage, the madness. You bring everything, and they feel it. They can't name it, but they sense it. That presence, that pressure, that bite, that's what the hated become. Legends. Not because they were liked, but because they couldn't be broken. And the world? Oh, the world has a very short memory for the soft. But the ones who rise out of rage, they etch their names into the bones of history. So keep going. Keep building when they say you're wasting time. Keep moving when they swear you'll never make it. Keep laughing when they ask, why don't you just quit? Because they don't get it. They never will. They've never been hated hard enough to awaken. But you were forged in it. You were reborn in it. You became real in it. They tried to erase you, and instead, they engraved you. You've made it this far? Then let me give you the truth most people aren't ready to hear. There is no going back. Once you taste the fire that comes with being hated, once you see how clear the world becomes, when love no longer blinds you, you can't unsee it. You'll never fit in again. Not because you've changed, but because you finally stopped pretending. You see too much now. You hear the falseness in their voices. You notice how every compliment is coded in control, how every hand extended to help has strings tied to it. But you don't reach for it anymore, because you've become your own weapon. You walk alone, yes, but you walk with intent. Every step echoes with conviction. Every breath is a declaration. I do not fear being hated. I command it, because hate isn't weakness. Hate is focus. Hate is respect disguised as rage. They wouldn't hate you if you were irrelevant. They wouldn't attack you if you were powerless. They wouldn't try to silence you if your voice didn't cut. So what now? Now you build something that cannot be ignored. You stop shrinking to fit inside their fragile minds. You speak when it shakes the ground. You move when it breaks the pattern. You exist like thunder, loud, jarring, impossible to predict. You make your life a work of art forged in fire and refusal. You don't apologize for your ambition. You don't hide your hunger. You don't deny the monster they tried to kill. You give it the throne, because the final trick, the one they never see coming, is that you were never the villain. You were the storm. And when the storm finally stops asking for acceptance, it owns the sky. So now I speak directly to you, the one listening to this, the one who's felt the sting of rejection so deep it carved silence into your chest. Let it burn. Let it shape you. Let the weight of their hate be the forge that builds your final form. Because you don't get remembered for following rules. You don't get immortalized by asking nicely. You become a myth when you become unforgivable. So be unforgivable. They'll try to reduce you, twist your name, mock your purpose, and still, you rise. Not in spite of their hate, but because of it. Because deep down they know, no matter how many stones they throw, you build castles. No matter how many times they try to bury you, you come back with deeper roots. And no matter how loud their hate becomes, your silence terrifies them more. Because the ones who hate you the most, they already know they lost. They lost the moment you stopped caring what they thought. They lost the moment you used their poison to write your story. They lost when you stopped running and turned around, laughing. And now you walk past their opinions like ruins. Unshaken, untouchable, uninvited, yet unforgettable. So let this be your call to arms. Be hated, be mocked, be doubted, and still be undeniable. They'll never understand how you turned their venom into victory. But that's not your problem. Your only job now? Make the hate worth it. Make it hurt to know they couldn't stop you. Make it legendary how loud they had to scream before the world noticed your silence. Make your story so powerful that they have to lie just to sleep at night. Because the truth is this: you didn't need to be loved. You needed to wake up. And now that you're awake, stay that way. Build louder, burn brighter, laugh harder, and never go back. Let the world know you are not here to be liked. You are here to be remembered. And if they hate you for it, good. It means you're finally doing something worth remembering.